Hi, everyone, and welcome to my live. I am Coach Sherry, and this is day 46 of the 90-day Going Live Every Day Challenge. And I appreciate all the support that this channel has gotten thus far. So, this is my live, but I'm also going to put this under my podcast. I do have a podcast tab. It's Real Talk with Coach Sherry, and that is what this is. So, this topic for this, well, the topic for tonight, let's call it that. The topic for tonight is about business pricing models for products and services. One of the toughest things when you start a business is pricing, how to price your product, how to price your services. How do you upcharge? What do you upcharge for? What do you need to consider when you are pricing? You have to consider your time. You have to consider all the materials that go into making the product. Also, all the materials that go into packaging the product need to be considered when you are pricing. One thing that when I get new clients for business, for marketing, one of the things that I notice is they don't put the particular type of model that they are using for their pricing in their business plan or in their marketing communications plan. And if you have a business that you may have investors for, or I always say structure your business in case you can eventually start getting investors. I know as an investor, you are going to want to have that business plan, that marketing plan that completely outlines what the business is, who is involved, their expertise, the products, how the products are made, also how are they priced. And you want all of those types of details. What strategies do they have to get it to market? What is their target audience? What is their SWOT analysis? But for the purposes of this video, we are going to discuss business pricing models. I hope you have your pen and paper ready so that you can capture this and determine which pricing model would work best for your products and or services. All right. So again, pricing your products or services the right way is so important for your business success. And yes, you absolutely can start over. Some people they launch and then they do a relaunch, they do a facelift, they do, a lot of different things. They may move to a new location, change names, change branding. And at the same time, if that's your business, if I'm talking directly to you, make sure that you review your pricing model because that may have to change as well. And you absolutely can change it, but you want to try and get this part right the first time. So in order to get it right, you have to know what other options are out there. There's so many different pricing models. And so I'm going to share a few with you today. And so here are some key steps to determining the right pricing for your product or service. So first you want to calculate, you want to calculate all the costs involved in producing your product or delivering your service, and that's what I was saying. It can include direct costs like materials, the labor, overhead expenses, the rent, the utilities, gas, all the things that go into it. You also want to understand your target customers' perceived value of your offering. Sometimes you might price it so low that your customers may think it's too cheap. And then sometimes you might overprice it and they think it's not worth it. The quality is not there to pay for that. You need to analyze your competitors' pricing for similar products. You want to do that research, your due diligence. Go out there and shop your competitor, see what they're offering. How are they packaging their items? What type of materials do they use? Do they use tissue paper? Do they use bubble wrap? How are they packaging it? Choose a pricing strategy based on your goals. Consider pricing models, and I'm going to go into more about the pricing models and test different price points. You want to, if you're going to test your price points, do not change them every week because if your customers see your pricing fluctuating so often, they're not going to see the value in what you have. They're going to look at it like, just wait a little bit. It's going to go down. The price is going to go down. I know for me, I am very leery when I see things go on a sale that is extremely low because I look at the item at that point like, it wasn't worth the quarter in the first place. And so if I go back to that same vendor, to that same store, I'm looking at their items with the side eye at peak season, at regular price. I'm looking at it like you have these things overpriced and I might as well just wait because I know it's going to go down. So, stand strong on your pricing. Try not to have to go down as much. And if you do have to go down considerably for your pricing, maybe you have too much inventory, a particular item didn't move, consider having a sample sale. Have a certain type of sale. Don't just mark it down. Have a sale that just includes those items and take them to another location. And let that be part of your marketing to expose another sector of a community to who you are as a business owner. All right. So here are some common pricing models for your products and services, and I'm going to go through them. And the first one is cost plus pricing. And this involves calculating the total costs of producing a product or delivering a service, and then adding a markup or profit margin to determine the final price. Now, some advantages and disadvantages of that is the advantage is that it's simple to calculate and ensure costs are covered. But the disadvantages are it you are ignoring the market conditions and customers' perceived value. So, you want to really consider your customer. Now, if you have a store like a bodega or maybe considering like a Dollar General type of store where you have knick-knack paddywhack stuff, this, that, and the other type of stuff, then you might want to look at the cost plus pricing because you're not really considering a high-end clientele coming in looking for quality. You're just trying to move product. So definitely, that would be when you would use cost plus pricing. And again, I encourage you as you are developing your business plan, your marketing communications plan, if you already have one, if you're revising it, to be specific with the model that you're using for your pricing. That will set you up in a lot differently from most other businesses, especially again if you're looking to get an investor, as well as if you're looking to get maybe a loan for your business to purchase a building or to expand it, going to an institution like a bank or a financial service. They would definitely want to see a thorough business plan that outlines everything, and how you come to do your pricing is very important because that's how you're going to make your money. The next is value based pricing. And this is where the price is set based on the perceived value of the product service to the customer rather than just the costs involved. And some of the disadvantages or advantages would be an advantage is prices based on the customer's perceived value can maximize your revenue. Disadvantages are it's difficult to determine the true customer's value perceptions accurately. And that's why you really have to know who your customer is. Where do they shop? What are they spending their money on? What type of quality items do they gravitate to? And kind of be in that circle, network with them, go to events with them, see what type of books are they reading, where do they live, what type of associations do they belong to, what are some of their goals, what type of work do they do. Really understanding who they truly are, you will understand the value based pricing, because you'll understand what they perceive as value. Is it quality over quantity? Some people, especially with jewelry business is a big thing. Some customer base, some of them, they may want big thick jewelry, and they'll see that as being more expensive and better quality. But some, they like dainty, delicate type of jewelry, and they see that as being more valuable. So you definitely have to know who your client base is. I know some people, even with clothes, they'll spend money on trendy clothes. They think, oh, this is trending. I want to get that. I'll pay whatever it is, to get that. But then there's the ones that they look at, timeless pieces of items. They want that 100% wool. They want to buy something that is made by alpaca, type of fabric. They just are into the quality of the materials that are used, like the thread count of sheets for your bed. They all may look the same, but how do they feel? What is the weight of it? And that's the value added. All right, let's look at the next, which is competitive pricing. Let me see. Did I have that up here? Nope, let me make one. Just a second. And I, again, thank you for being here in the live. If you're looking at this in the replay, leave me a comment and tell me what you think so far. All right, so the next is competitive pricing. And these prices are set in relation to what competitors are charging for similar offerings in the market. And some of the advantages and disadvantages of that will be, advantages are it helps to maintain competitiveness, low risk if following proven competitors. Disadvantages is that it ignores your own cost value. It copies the competitor's mistakes. So sometimes your competitors are not doing the right thing, and if you're trying to keep up with them, you may outprice, outbid, underprice yourself. Your quality may be a higher standard, but for a similar type of product. And if you have to price higher because of the quality and the things you put into it, you know that may make you not have sales. Some people, depending on your market, the value, some people may say, I don't care if this is better quality, I can get it cheaper around the corner. And it does the same thing. All right. So what the cheaper one may break after 10 uses, but at least I got those 10 uses out of it. And, I still have more money in my pocket at the end of the day. So you have to definitely determine exactly all that you're putting into your products that you're trying to sell, and looking at what the competitors are doing, and how is yours going to be worth the price that you are putting on it over your competitors. And you don't want to underprice, because then some of your customers may look at the value added, because it is, more expensive and maybe a little bit more luxe. And if yours is lower, they may look at it and turn their nose down to it and say, it must not be made well, or it's an inferior product. It looks the same, but there's got to be something to it for it to be so inexpensive. So be mindful of that. And the next is freemium. And I've heard, I know it's Pandy's Hair Candy and More, when she is inviting people to hit the subscribe button or to hit the thumbs up on her videos. And she's like, it's what did she say? It's free 99. It's free 99 to subscribe or to, hit the like button. And so freemium is a basic version, is offered for free, with premium paid versions that have more features or no ads. And so we all know about freemiums. Now, the advantages, it attracts users with the free version. And then the disadvantages is the challenge to convert free users to paid. Now, just about every platform is a freemium. You can use YouTube for free for sure. You can use the AI tools that are out there for free. There's a lot of things that initially you can use the free version, but there's always a limit. Even with StreamYard, where I'm right now doing this live, there is a free version, but the paid version opens it up to more things. You get more streaming hours, you get to customize your stream a little bit more, just little things like that. With YouTube, yeah, we all know YouTube is a free platform, but did you know that there is a premium that you can pay, where you don't get the commercials or the ads that cut in through people through their videos, especially the ones that are monetized. So, you don't have to worry about it having that interruption. Just like Hulu or Netflix, there's those upgraded versions. Now you do have to pay for those, but they have the upgrades where you can get where you don't have the commercials. I'm telling you, I don't like commercials. So if there's a upgrade for that, I always buy into that. But there are some people that are like, listen, I will ride this freemium till the wheels come off. I refuse to give a dime if I can use still use the service. And if I have limited access, then I'll just have to have limited access and kind of pace myself. And I admire people that can do that because they have a lot of patience for sure. And, that definitely helps their bottom line. But definitely, freemium is something that you can use as an offering. Now, I do, and I know for my business, I do offer free consultation the initial consultation, and it's for 30 minutes. And that's to see if I'm a good fit for the client and if they're a good fit for me. I feel like if you're trying to explore and determine if this is going to be good, why should you have to pay for something like that? We both need to make sure, and I don't want to take your money if I'm not a good fit, and I know you don't want to give me your money if you're not. So, though that's the type of freemium. And then from there, if you want to continue, then there's a cost, definitely. All right. The next one is, let's see. The next one is flat rate pricing. And flat rate is when there's a fixed price is charged, and often that could be for a subscription service or for unlimited usage over a period of time. And some disadvantages and advantages. Well, an advantage is it's predictable for the customers and it's simple to understand. Disadvantage is that one size may not fit all for your customers' needs. And I know that, a lot of services, when they have that flat rate, they try to make it accommodating. They'll have where you could pay monthly and it's one fee monthly, or you could pay it all in 1 year and you save a little bit of money, about $10 to $20 savings when you do that. But it definitely helps when you are budgeting out to see, okay, if I'm gonna pay for this, how much is that going to be? Having those different packages at a flat rate versus an hourly rate. When you have some people do work maybe for your home or for your vehicle or anything major, when they are charging you by the hour, that's when you're looking at your watch like, okay, you listen, let's talk less and work more. Like attorneys, they charge by the hour, but really in real life, what they do in many cases probably takes about 10 minutes within that hour, but they'll tack on that hour. But be mindful. And I know when people do have attorneys that charge by the hour, they definitely, I recommend that you write down what it is that you want to say so that you can be mindful of the time that it takes. The longer you try to linger that conversation and try to figure out what else do I want to ask you, the more money it's going to cost you. So whenever you are utilizing any type of service that's on an hourly basis and not a flat rate pricing, you want to make sure you are intentional when you go into those situations. All right. So the next one is tiered. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Let me put it in. I'm telling you, sometimes when you are putting information into the banners, it sometimes it takes and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm always so surprised when I do something, at least I think I did something and it's not there. So the next is the tiered pricing, and that's different price points offered based on the features, usage limits, or customer segments. And there are some advantages, which could be it caters to varied customer segments and budgets, and disadvantages is too many options and they can be overwhelming for customers. So we are all very familiar with the tiered levels, and that's where you have maybe the basic, which is free, then you have the premium, then you have the plus. But then there are some companies that will have like 5 to 7 different tiers. And that's when it really becomes confusing, because at that point, you're trying to cross reference what the offerings are for each of the services to see, okay, if I pay a little bit more, then I'll get this, this, and this. But then if I pay a little bit more than that, I'll get all of that, plus I'll get this, this, and this. And so then at that point, you have to determine what usage, what is the usage. And that's why you really have to know who your customer is. If you're going to do tiered pricing, you need to know, all right, I have a clientele, and I have some that want it like this, and I have some that want it like that. And so let me try to accommodate all of them. So I have tiered pricing, but it's not necessarily tiered more than its packages. And tiered is like a package deal, but mine are all different because I have one-on-one opportunities, I have group coaching, I have like flat rate, I have hourly rate, I have a variety of tiers because I have a variety of clients, and they are in different stages of their personal and professional life. So I definitely try to consider all of them in my pricing. I have about 5 different packages. So, but it depends on which leg you want to go on, because if it's just business, that's a whole nother leg, so you're not really comparing it to the other leg of pricing. So you might want to also do that, if you have a clientele that may be more on a personal level. You might have a personal offerings, offerings that would accommodate their personal needs. Then have a level for that. Then if you have another opportunity for people to utilize your products or services on a professional level, but it's different than the personal, then have another section, that's the price points for the business side of things. So, tiered pricing, I think, gives you and your clientele some really good options. All right, let's see. The next is I'm at here. The next is usage based, and that's pay per use pricing. So customers are charged based on their actual usage or consumption of the product or service. And some of the advantages of that is that it aligns revenues with actual product or service consumption. And the disadvantage is its unpredictable revenues. Complex tracking is required. So, oof, that one is really, really hard, especially if this is your only stream of income, because you may have some high seasons where the clients are using your services and products, and you make a lot of money. And some businesses, it's like that. Businesses can be very seasonal, and you need to understand what is your high season, because then you can also determine what your price point should be during those high seasons. And you need to manage your funds, manage your money, manage your income, so that when you are in those low seasons, your high season income will cover that moment for you. So usage base is good for a lot of different types of businesses, but it really is, I look at it like a restaurant. Some restaurants have high times. They might be more of a lunch crowd, more of a dinner crowd, more of a holiday crowd. And if you know what your high hours are, then you also would want to maybe close early. That's why you see some restaurants, I know in Uptown Charlotte, some restaurants only stay open for breakfast and lunch because they're like, nobody's really checking for us at dinner. And so they know that if they stay open for dinner hours, yeah, they might get some customers to come in, but they won't really make a lot of money, but they're spending a lot of money. They have to spend money on their servers, the cooks, the employees. They have to, have the electricity on, and all these different costs happen, and they're not making that in return. So if you have a business that has it that's set up similar to that, you definitely want to be mindful of the high and the low times. Happy Thursday, Slasher Chick. Your live was phenomenal, and I really enjoyed the guest that you had towards the end. And I love calling Thursdays Thursday Eve, putting a twist on it. Well, actually, Friday Eve, I'm sorry, is what I call it. Friday Eve, that's where we're at. All right. So usage. So when you again have usage based pricing, you really need to understand the highs and the low times. If you don't understand that, then you may go in there blind and find it difficult to not just make money, but to maximize the amount of money that you can make for sure. All right. So the next one is bundle pricing. Let me see. Bundle pricing. And with bundle pricing, it's about, the complementary products or services that are combined and sold together at a discounted total price. And in terms of advantages with that, you can give almost like a sample of your offering to your client, and have it where, oh, I'm trying, I have a little bit of this bundle has this, that, and the other. It includes a lot of different things, and if I want to extend some services or buy more products of a particular thing, then I can do that because I basically test drove, all of these things. But then a disadvantage is that maybe it's so many choices and it's so many things that it people may discontinue it all because maybe there'll be another service or another product that can fulfill all of their needs and not have to have so many different things, or they may forget where they got all those different things from. And I'm thinking about baskets that people put together, and they're like, I'm gonna put a bundle together and just give it. But then when people get it, they use it, and then they may forget who gave it to them, where it came from, or if you do something like that, you really have to make sure that you brand what your products are very well, so people can always remember that where they purchased it from or where it came from. Yes, it is a wonderful Friday Eve. It was a tremendous day for me. Ooh, I literally had meetings back to back to back, and they were all amazing. Got a lot accomplished. And I typically don't prefer meetings a lot because I feel like if you're meeting all the time, how are you taking action? But I was able to take a lot of action in between and just knock things out. Then had a wonderful dinner with a few sorors, and just had a really good evening. I feel like I talked a lot today, so I was concerned about this live tonight, but I did think about this topic yesterday. I'm always thinking about the topic around pricing for business because a lot of my clients, that is their biggest challenge, is how much do they charge for their products or services. And so with the pricing models that I shared in this live, I hope that everyone was able to grab a nugget or two and learn about a pricing that would be best fitted for their business. And again, you don't have to be, this one and done, and I have to stick to this pricing model because this is what I said I do. No, you can shake it up, especially with the bundle. You can do bundles periodically. If you're introducing a new product or service, you can bundle it and give people just a little sample of it and see what they think about it. You can bundle like items, and like if you're going to get this, then you also going to need this. Amazon does this all the time. They'll say you might go and buy one thing, and then they'll show you a bundle and say people who bought this, they also often have purchased this and this. It'll be three other items, and that's really an upsell. So bundling is upselling too, if you're doing it right. If you're not just doing sample, if you're doing it at regular price, but you're giving the customer, your client, more options with how they can utilize what your offering is. But again, this is a very valuable piece to add to your marketing communications plan to your business plan. And I promise, if you don't have that already, you are missing out on a lot. There are so many crowdfunders, angel funders, people that are looking to invest in startup businesses, minority owned businesses, small businesses, and they get excited to see the growth, but they have to see your vision. And your vision has to be more than just in your head. Your vision has to be more than just in that back corner room in your home where you use as your workshop and you get it done. No, your vision has to be on paper where you can present it and effectively share it. I remember even when we did real estate development, we had to know exactly how many nails would go into each home, into the building of each home, how many pieces of wood, like literally, what is it, 1,000 nails, is it this amount? Because that all had to go into the plan. It had to go into the performa, so that when we went to see how much things were going to cost, we had to add that to the cost. So that again is understanding what all goes into making your product to determine how much it's going to cost. Do not shortchange yourself. I remember yes, it was typing, my high school typing teacher. Oh man, I wish I could remember her name. I can see her face right now, but she also taught business law, and she had worked at some point for Macy's in corporate, and she was saying how they marked up their items by 600%. And I always thought that was just so strange, like 600%, good gracious. But especially if you buy in bulk and in large quantities, buy wholesale, yeah, you get the discount is real. When I designed jewelry, I also used to buy some pieces wholesale, and I would almost feel bad for how much I would have to mark it up just to make it at a price point that I knew my clientele would expect to pay. Because I knew my client like the back of my hand, and I knew how much they would pay and how much they wouldn't pay. And typically how much they would pay would be more typically more than the average person. And if it wasn't at that price point, they would look at it and be like, no, thank you. So yes, furniture has markup like that too. It does. And that's why, I love where I am in North Carolina. They call it the furniture capital of the world. And, there's a lot of great furniture places, not necessarily here in Charlotte, but in and around Charlotte. And I remember even with our furniture, what I would do, I would go to the regular store, the regular furniture store, and pick out things that I like. And I would write down the item number, and then I went to the it's called Furniture Land South, and it's this huge warehouse. They say it's the largest furniture store in the world, and literally, the consultant that I was working with had clients coming in from. I want to say it might have been like Saudi Arabia or something. And I'm thinking, I know they have some beautiful furniture, but they were getting some pieces from her, and I would take the number because the furniture stores have the most updated furniture, the newest line or whatever. And Furnitureland South has brand new furniture too, but they don't always, on the floor anyway, they don't always have the most up to date. I mean, you couldn't tell unless you went to the regular store and did what I did. And so I was able to give her the item numbers, and she looked it up. They had a whole catalog book. They had a whole showroom. I mean, oh, if y'all come to, it's in High Point, North Carolina. I promise you, you will not disappoint. I actually did a live there not too long ago, and I recorded it. But at any rate, I got my furniture for like, I want to say almost 50% from what it would have sold in a regular store. And when I saw that price difference, I said a regular furniture store does not have to worry about me anymore. Anymore. Yes, and the handcrafted, it's hard to even put, because that handcrafted, first of all, it's unique and one of a kind. So you have a piece that could possibly be heirloom, part of your legacy. So that makes it that much more special. Yeah. Yes, getting rid of that middleman. And that's what a lot of people are starting to do. They getting rid of that middleman, but you have to still be mindful of the quality, and that's the thing. So if you have a product or a service, no matter what type of model, pricing model you use, you want to make sure that you have quality. You don't want one and done customers. Even if you have a product or a service where, well, they really wouldn't come back to use me because once they get it, they got it. But you know what? Word of mouth and referrals is a real thing. And so if your pricing model is appropriate for your product or service, and people get quality, they get value for what they spend, they will tell a friend. They absolutely would. And and for a lot of businesses, you know, you may not see a website, you may not see, how you get how you get your clients, because it is word of mouth. I can't even tell you how many inbox messages I get for resumes from previous clients from years ago, and they're telling a friend, oh, if you want to get this done, go to her. So you definitely want to have a business that people will refer. If you're not getting referrals for your business, then you may not be doing your business right, and you may want to review that. And that could be something you work on too, and figure out, well, why am I not getting any referrals? Even when I did my jewelry, people would call me and say, "Oh, my friend saw you at a show," or they told me that if I was going to get married, I needed to contact you. And that's really important. And that makes it so much easier because then you could just sit back and just do your thing. But at any rate, I hope you were able to get a nugget. If you are watching this in the replay, and or if you're here, I know there's about 20,000 people probably over time that's going to watch this video. Be sure to leave in the comment section or in the chat, what is a nugget that you're taking from this? What pricing model do you think is going to work best for your business and your products and services? Again, that's going to be important. But I enjoyed this conversation with y'all, and it's been my pleasure to share this information with you. Remember, practice every day so that when you get into play, you will always play to win. I am Coach Sherry.